Yo, what's going on? This is the NRW where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I'm back with something brand new, y'all. You know, for a long time, I've been, talking all about our representation on the big screen and talking comic stuff. But what I haven't done really is talk about the plastic form. Y'all see all the stuff behind me that I've been very blessed to, collect while I've been at conventions and shows. And for a while, man, I've been wanting to kind of merge that, but I hadn't. It was up until recently, there was a alert that they're making a Ned figure, Peter Parker's buddy in Spider-Man. When I saw that and saw other friends, shout out to Edwin Santos and Justin Keyson, blog about that, tweet about it, I was like, you know what? We really haven't had that representation as far as Filipinos is concerned. And I'm curious how that AAPI representation has been. So when I started to contemplate, take that as a sign, I was like, let me do a search on that, just that topic, AAPI figures, action superheroes. And then sure enough, as soon as I put that little search into Google, who pops up? None other than my brother from another mother, the cat that is the ringleader over at the Nerds of Color. He does an amazing podcast. He does a ton of podcasts. He has the Southern Fried Asians, which talks about our representations as Southern Asians. And then he has this amazing podcast called Shelf Conscious, where he talks about toys and his collections. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him up on the screen because he's gonna be my special guest. There you go. For this episode 0, we're gonna talk all about API representation in toys, and then hopefully he can kick me off as I start this new series of podcasts. I'm gonna shoot out some air horns, Keith. I'm not gonna put it on right now. They're gonna be in post, so I don't deafen you because that's the duty of your daughter. How are you, sir?
There we go. That, right? Yeah. What's up? Thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking about toy collecting, because I say it all the time. Movies, TV, comics, game. That's not my bag. My bread and butter are particularly 6-inch plastic action figures. You kind of shame me. Everyone always comments on my background, but looking at your background, it's like. But you can also tell we're on opposite ends, because you're like all Marvel, Spider-Man, and I'm like.
You're the DC guy.
Trying to like Batman and DC over here. So it's like, I got my Marvel Legends. I'm hiding them right now.
You also got some politics in there.
Legends here
you got the Hamilton in there. I see the Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I got some Hamilton. Yeah. I mean, I know your show is specifically about Asian American action figures. I tried to pose some of my Asian characters on the shelf right there. That's just some of them I got. And particularly like real life Asian Americans, right? Because it's like Ming-Na Wen, Henry Golding, Andrew Koji, Benedict Wong.
I love it.
Gemma Chan and Kumail Nanjiani and Don Lee and I forgot her name. The lady who plays Akiko in the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes movie.
Yes. And you actually
I almost called her Hikaru Utada, but that wasn't her. That's a Japanese pop singer. But yeah, so I tried to. I didn't have enough time. I got Kelly Marie Tran and Riz Ahmed and Donnie Yen in a bin in my closet. I got Bruce Lee figure, my SHR figure as Bruce Lee. I'm trying to represent for your show.
Most definitely, bro. And like I said, when I get going with this, I plan to do like a spotlight feature every episode and do an unboxing. I'm gonna let it breathe. I've got boxes over here. I was actually we actually texted each other earlier right before we started recording, y'all. I was actually at Walmart because Let me go ahead and tell a story right now. Yesterday, I was at Walmart, and when I was contemplating all of this, I saw the Eternals figures were on sale. They had them for like $11. The Marvel Legends Eternals figures. I was like, they're probably because the movie didn't do well, and I guess people aren't picking it up.
Toys didn't do well either.
So I was like, I'm gonna do this new Asian podcast. I need to get Cersei. I need to get oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the characters' names right now.
Kingo.
And so I picked up those two, and then I was like, you know what? I really want Gilgamesh though.
So you gotta get all of them.
Do I need to buy all of them? So yesterday I said no, but today, right before we started recording, I was like, I slept on it. I woke up this morning. I'm fucking building Gilgamesh. And I went
so you can still find the rest of the Eternals in stores?
Yeah, I went and picked up. I'll bring it up right now. I picked up Makari, got Fastos, and I have Sprite. However, the one I'm missing in order to complete Gilgamesh is Druig, and Druig apparently is the head. So I'm coming for the head of Gilgamesh after we get done recording. I'm gonna go stop at other Walmarts and see if I can't find Druig so I can complete my Gilgamesh. And here he is. He's gonna pull it out.
Just wanted to show you. My man Don Lee right here.
There we go.
That's him fully built. But see, you're smarter because I bought all the Eternals figures at like $20-$25 a pop back when they first came out. Because
it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. I mean, that's not. I hope on this podcast we don't talk about prices because then we'll both get in trouble.
Right. You know what? I haven't even told my wife that I'm starting this new podcast. And so I'm already in dangerous waves right now. In dangerous waters.
So let me ask you, though, before we get into like the AAPI of it all, like what is your go-to scale? Because, I mentioned, I think over time, 7 inch became like the go-to scale. I was never a Hot Toys. One, I don't understand how people could have like multiple Hot Toys just because like,
pricey.
They're so expensive. That said, I've fallen down a bit of a rabbit hole because I've had this Michael Keaton Hot Toys for a minute because my uncle gave it to me.
Okay.
In Hong Kong, like right from the source, he gave it to me. So I've had that for a while. I never opened it. Finally popped it open, and I was like, "Oh, this is why people like Hot Toys."
Yeah.
So since then, I've bought a Mandalorian Hot Toy. I
thought about that.
I just got the Harley Quinn from Birds of Prey. Okay. Just literally 2 days ago.
Really?
In the mail. And I pre-ordered the Robert Pattinson Batman. So now
oh my God.
That's how and now I've figured out that's how it happens. You get one and then you fall down the rabbit. I think I'm stopping at Pattinson bats. I can't justify. I don't even have the space. I don't know where I'm putting Harley. But I had to have the Harley. This is the caution tape jacket Harley with the egg sandwich. Oh, nice.
So it has that fine detail to it.
Yeah. It has the egg sandwich. I bought it for the egg sandwich.
Dope. That's hilarious.
And then
that's crazy.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the R bats as soon as it came available. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm asking you, like, what is your go-to? Because my go-to scale is the 6-7 inch. What's yours?
I think right now, as I start this new series, I'm going to start with the Marvel Legends. I'm going to kind of go back. When Marvel Legends first started, I actually was really picking that up constantly, like the Toy Biz 3 or 4 runs of it. Right. And then I kind of faded off because it just became too much because I was getting the whole collection, the whole set. I wanted every figure.
Because those are 3 3/4 inch.
Well, no. I'm talking,
on your wall right now.
Yeah, on the wall is the Marvel Universe,
which is the 3 3/4 inch.
3 3/4 inch. I fell off of that after when they started doing the Secret Wars. It was like right after the Secret Wars collectors 2-packs that I fell off. Then I returned to the Marvel Legends again. So I'm more of the 6 inches is what you're.
Yeah, Marvel Legends is 6 inch.
Yeah, I'm more.
And that's become the standard, at least for like adult collectors, right? That's become the standard size because Black Series Star Wars is 6 inch. Yeah. Marvel Legends. I mean, first of all, Hasbro kind of cornered the market. Hasbro is like, how Disney bought up every property, like Disney owns Star Wars, Marvel picks up, right? Hasbro is kind of like that in the toy world because Hasbro owns a license for Star Wars, for Marvel, for Power Rangers, which I'm not a Power Rangers guy. Transformers is Hasbro. Ghostbusters is Hasbro. So like they kind of own they cornered the market on like 6 inch action figures, and now they have G.I. Joe Classified, which is the 6 inch like upscaled versions of your classic 3 3/4 G.I. Joes.
I almost started like that was also kind of like almost the push again to get back into collecting, because I was picking up Snake Eyes, I picked up Storm Shadow, I picked up who did I pick up? Roadblock, which you just had. I'm saying Roadblock because you just had it. The Red Ninja. I picked up the Red Ninja. And I was going to pick more of the other figures up, but I was like, where am I going to put it? Like you see here, there's that, and there's a whole nother wall here. My studio, like, again, like, as I said earlier, I'm in dangerous waters right now because my wife doesn't know I'm now doing this new AAPI Toy Hero podcast. because where the hell am I going to put it? But I'm going to clear, like I'm looking around right now. Maybe I can clear out that space right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what, like, that's why I have bins now, right? Because like I really only have these 2 shelves behind me that I can fully display things, and they're starting to get like full to the brim.
Yeah.
So what I decided, like, especially with the Marvel Legends. So first of all, I only collect the MCU Marvel Legends. I don't do the comics Marvel Legends. Like the only comic book Marvel. You brought
that up because I'm going back. I'm on the fence on that right now. Going back and getting those the comic Marvel Legends.
Right. Well, it's because my thing is like, so like for me, I was never a big Marvel Comics reader to begin with. So like I was never that, like, the comic versions of the characters don't speak to me as much.
Got it.
And the only one I have like the Jim Lee Wolverine, like the blue and yellow Wolverine figure. That's like the only comics accurate Marvel. But most of my Marvel Legends is the MCU ones because I think for me in particular, like my preference is like sculpt and actor likeness, like, because over the last like 5 or 6 years, particularly Hasbro kind of perfected the digital print on their paint and sculpting to make the 6-inch figures look as good as like a hot toy in terms of like accuracy and character likeness.
Yeah.
So that really kind of like fueled, collecting the Star Wars and the MCU Marvel Legends, because I like just how accurate to the screen for the most part those figures were. And that was like the driving force. And so like Marvel Legends, I kind of limit myself to the MCU, but then even then I have so many MCU Marvel Legends that I have to like cycle them in and out. So like, and you've been on my Facebook, you've been on my Instagram, you see sometimes I like rearrange the display. So like for a while the shelf was like, here are the Avengers and like all of Wakanda. So I had like all the Dora Milaje and Chadwick.
I love that. It's kind of like seasonal, like decorating for the holidays. But
exactly. So like, right. So like when Eternals came out, I kind of swapped out Wakanda for the Eternals. And that's been kind of like the dominant display. And I think I'm going to start swapping them out. Maybe I picked up a couple of the new Doctor Strange figures. So I have like the Wong figure. Yeah. I got the Scarlet Witch from WandaVision, which I think is going to play a big role in the movie. So I might put her in the display. So it's, switching that. And then they just revealed, you mentioned the Ned Leeds figure. They also revealed all the Thor Love and Thunder figures. So I might pick them up. And build Korg and have like a love. So I think that's, like you said, a seasonal rotational display for the Marvel Legend.
I love that.
I did the same thing with like my DC. Like I have the Justice League and the Batman. So like I have to kind of like swap them in and out. I think that's what you end up having to do too.
So I think you've helped me figure out what I'm exactly going to do, at least for right now, until I feel that itch or that pull again. I think I'm going to keep it Marvel Legends, but I think I'm going to keep it the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So maybe you can help me out with that checklist right now. So who is that right now? Because it couldn't be as far as AAPI, and that's who I'm going to have my focus on. So we have, obviously, like I said, the Eternals wise, we have the Gilgamesh, we have Circe, we have Kingo, we have the Shang-Chi figures, which I have. I have Shang-Chi, I've got Wenwu, and I've got Xiling. I need to get the rest of the Shang-Chi.
If you started this up like 2 months ago, that like you could have picked up an Aquafina for like $5.
I actually started because I was picking up those Shang-Chi figures. Funny enough, although I wasn't thinking I was going to do this collection thing. And I saw that I saw the Aquafina for $5 at Target, and I didn't pick it up. Because I just like, I knew I wanted Shang-Chi. The reason I bought the Shang-Chi and the Xiling was because we were going to actually, for Halloween last year as a family, cosplay. And I was also going to get the character Death Dealer. My daughter was going to be Death Dealer. My wife was going to be Xiling, which is weird because brother, sister, husband, wife. I was going to be Shang-Chi. But we ended up cosplaying Hamilton, funny enough, for Halloween. Yeah,
so let me ask you, in terms of Marvel, and I'll get to like the checklist, because other than like, you've knocked them all out, like Shang-Chi, because the thing is, there weren't a lot of Asians in the MCU before Shang-Chi, right? Exactly. So like,
that's why I'm like, it's a good, easy point to start right now.
Yeah. But my question to you is like, when you're talking about AAPI action figures, like, are you trying to expand? Like, I know you said you want to collect MCU figures, but like, there's, when you think of like the amount of Asian American action figures, there's a lot more if you go beyond
Oh, yeah.
If you start collecting Star Wars, you got Ming-Na Wen, you got like half of Rogue One, you got, and if it's AAPI, you have Tamir Morrison as Boba Fett. You know, if you expand into the DC universe, you have the Jason Momoa Aquaman figure.
Yep.
Right. Like, so and you know, Hamilton, I have the Eliza Schuyler pop figure because, you know, that's Philippa Sue. So like, are you trying to get like every Asian American action figure, even beyond Marvel?
I think what I'm going to do is maybe travel that rabbit hole. If I don't do it for myself, get another collector on, such as like yourself. Like, hey, can you spotlight your Star Wars API action figures and kind of like we'll do a show and tell with that, you know, just because I think my whole focus with this is to just give love and light to that representation.
Yeah,
I know. And as we said, there's no room for me. I might get triggered to buy it after like seeing you show lovingly this amazing, you know, figure that you may have. And I'm like, you know what? I think I really want it for myself.
Well, and I think what you could do too, I think for you, here's my toy collector advice. If you want to focus on AAPI Marvel Legends, I think you can expand beyond the MCU because again, you've already got most of the MCU figures, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the Eternals you need except Gilgamesh. And you know, honestly, at this point, you should probably just like buy you only need the head, right? You could probably find the head on like eBay or something, right?
Yeah.
But you know, you got all the Eternals figures you need. You already have like 90% of the Shang-Chi figures. So you're already there. You find a Wong and you're set in terms of
I picked up Wong
in terms of MCU, you're done. So maybe what you should do is find Asian and AAPI Marvel Legends. So then you can get them as Marvel, you can get a Silk, you can get, you know what I'm saying? So like they're
eBayed that a little bit. I Googled
it. You can get the comics, Shang-Chi, you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. But yeah, I searched a little bit because I was when a germ of an idea starts, you know, I start doing that research to see what that would all imply, right? And but no, I think after this MCU API representation, what I think I'll do is because I'm a big fan of the Major Figure Podcast. It's like a wrestling figure podcast because I'm also a wrestling fan, and I think I might do like
WWE figures,
you know,
AEW too.
Exactly.
Asuka,
Rock, Roman Reigns. You have Asuka, Xy Lee. You know, so I think I might do that a little bit. But then what I also think will be really fun is if, as this grows, finding out what specific figures other collectors are looking for and doing toy hunts and actually kind of, you know, as I'm traveling, going to different shows and just going around shopping in general, finding a figure that somebody's looking for. And that'll be half.
Hey, and you know what though? Like, truth be told, like, and I've had a few toy hunters on YouTube on my show. That is a YouTube genre that I'm fascinated by.
Right? Same.
Because like, I don't know if you've been following my podcast. I don't know how like deep you are into the world of like toy hunt YouTube, but so I've had Cincy Nerd. Cincy Nerd is I think my favorite toy hunter. You'll dig him because he's Filipino.
Oh, dope! Hell yeah! Let's
Cincy Nerd. Cincy Nerd. He's like my favorite toy YouTuber. And I had a dude RG who I think is Filipino. He might be Latino. I don't know. I never asked. I can't tell with y'all sometimes.
All love.
but they've both been on Shelf.
Nice.
And you know, and I've talked to both of them about like I'm a little, you know, speaking of shelf conscious, I'm a little too self-conscious to like record myself in the stores.
Gotcha.
But that's why I kind of live vicariously through these guys because like they'll videotape their toy hunts and go down the aisle and, you know, as they're looking through the figures, you know, sometimes my wife walks in on me and I'm watching YouTube on the TV and she's like, why are you watching people shopping? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's endlessly entertaining.
It is. My wife watches me too. And she actually, it's funny you mentioned your wife seeing you watched it. She actually sat down and started checking it out and she's like, oh, okay. She could see how I was entertained. So she didn't hate on it. And actually what's funny is like in regards to like I started watching, you know, I watch wrestling podcasts. She actually, I found her after like I started watching there's the What Culture Wrestling out of the UK. It's like a UK wrestling podcast. I find her now watching it, coming into the room, and she's already watching it. So, like she became a fan of it. So it's crazy. I think it's the accent.
Yeah. No, but I mean, if you get into the WWE figures, I mean, Mattel does a great job with the WWE figures because, you know, they held the DC license for so long and were always doo-doo with the DC license. And I never understood why they couldn't get the quality. And I mean, honestly, I've never really I feel like the folks I know who do collect WWE, I don't collect wrestling figures, but the folks who do, like, seemingly like them. So, like, I always was jealous about how well received the Mattel's WWE figures were and how, like, dog shit their DC figures always were. And, like, no one, and I'm not 100% like happy with McFarlane. McFarlane now does the DC figures, and I don't really pick up a lot of them. I only picked up the Batman because he's the only one doing the Batman figures, and I figured I'd go ahead and just get all the, you know, the Zack Snyder Justice League figures. Just I didn't want to at first, but you get one, and it's just kind of like, I mean, Batfleck looks lonely on the shelf. I guess I got to get his buddies. You know, and the Darkseid and the Steppenwolf figures are really dope. So
yeah.
But my heart and soul has always been collecting DC figures, right? Like, that's my jam has always been, you know, I'm a Batman guy. I had the I still have my Superpowers Batmobile. You know, I had the Toy Biz 89 Batman toys when they came out. Yeah. So I've always, like, that's always been my go-to. I'll always never not collect Batman figures, but I can't get into the McFarlane stuff. So
is it
that's
just
where I feel
the scope of it?
I mean, the scopes are dope, and I mean they're fine. It's just something about them.
Interesting.
That it just don't speak to me. Like, they're articulate. They're like McFarlane. The hit against them for so long is they never had articulated figures, right?
Yeah.
And they started, like, putting more because that's the other thing. I like likeness and I like articulation. That's the, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Those are my two things that appeal to me most when it comes to action figures. And, like, they're better at articulation, but I don't know, just something about, like, Hasbro just figured it out.
Yeah.
You know, most of my collection, when it comes to Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, Black Series, even the I did Transformers for a while because they kind of went back to G1.
Yeah, that was
War for Cybertron and Earthrise. I was like, holy shit, I'm buying a lot more Transformers than I used to. Yeah. So they've kind of moved on. They're, like, down to Beast Wars and shit. So I'm kind of, like, done with Transformers. But
yeah.
So, but the Hasbro is just kind of like, they're my jam, even though, like, I would like to see them have the DC license just so that they could put out some dope DC figures. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just weird that, like, to have a Hasbro have both Marvel and DC.
That is weird. Yeah, I can feel that. So I got to ask you, brother, like, again, it's a wild, and I'm not surprised. So like I said, I was contemplating this whole thing. I did a search. I was like, yes, I figured out my niche, essentially what it was. Like, I've been thinking about it, you know, being a fan of the Wrestling Toy Podcast, seeing you collect, doing your shelf contests and having these figures, and just, you know, I could collect, but then where am I going to put it? But then if I do a niche, that'll help me not be too much of a, you know, get me in trouble with my wife, and I could kind of fit a need. And then it'd be maybe a need for the people that want to just kind of focus on that. And I wasn't surprised when I do a search for AAPI action figures, and you're the first person that comes up with an article you did for the Knock, for the Nerds of Color. And then, so for people that don't know just a little bit about your history, you know, you were with Toy Fair, and tell me how, because it goes back, man. And why did you want to do that as a focused article way back when? Because and the importance of just that, and now that's kind of like what I'm going to do with the importance of this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you know, especially I forget when I wrote that. I've written the professional speaker. I've written a few different ones. I think I did one for NBC News. I think I did one for, like, an old blog that I had, like, back when blogs were, like, personal things you did on the internet and not, you know, sponsored by Goalie gummies. Go to Hard Knock. Use the code HardKnock at goalie.com and get yourself some gummies.
Let's go.
But so you got to do paid promotion now on your.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
No, but so I think, but back in the day, it was like, well, you know, especially then, it was rare. You didn't have a lot of Asian American action figures, like, just truth be told. Just thinking back, like, especially when you and I were growing up, it was like Jitsu, Masters of the Universe, and then Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe. And that was pretty much, and then Quick Kick, Tunnel Rat. And then that was it. You did your whole quota of Asian action figures for our generation. Yeah. Not counting, like, you know, stuff that was coming over from Japan. Like, were the Voltron team, were they Asian action figures? Like, I think so. But, like, You know what I'm saying? So like that was, it was Jitsu, and it was a couple of GI Joes. And I think, at that time when I did one of those art, I forget which one, but like you saw more. You saw like, Marvel Legends were getting a little bit deeper into the roster. So you had like a Shang-Chi figure, you had a Silk figure, and I think I don't think DC ever expand into like their actual Asian characters. I don't know.
Yeah, I was curious if they had the Batgirl. I forgot what Batgirl.
Oh, they do have a Cassie Kane, but her face is covered.
Yeah,
but they do have a Cassie Kane figure.
Yeah,
and then with Star Wars, like you didn't have an Asian American Star Wars figure until Rose, because you didn't have an Asian American character until Rose, right? So that I think just kind of like to your point, like focusing on like when can we see ourselves in action figures? So my thing is action figures. My thing is not movies, TV, comics, video games.
Yeah,
like you mentioned, I wrote for Toy Fair since 2002, right? Like I was writing for Toy Fair back in like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And for those who may be a little bit young listening to this podcast, Toy Fair was a magazine.
Which awesome is magazine.
Which is Toy Fair. Yeah, right. Magazines, which are these glossy page things that you would get in the mail or maybe pick up at the newsstand. And that's how we got our toy news back in the day. And it was an offshoot of Wizard, which was the same thing but for comics.
Yeah.
And I wrote for them for like 3 years. And it was so fun. It was because of Toy Fair that I had the opportunity to meet Larry Hama. And if you want to talk about Asian Americans and action figures, Larry Hama is the source.
The king. Because
Larry Hama created G.I. Joe as we know it. The real American hero comes from the brain of Larry Hama. And, I'm so grateful because it was at a Joe Con in Norfolk. I used to live in Virginia, and it was like 2002, and I met Larry. And like, what people don't understand is like, for me to meet Larry Hama, it's like some folks meeting Stan Lee or, Bob Kane or whatever, right? Like Larry Hama,
Oh, it was the same feeling for me, brother. It was like meeting God,
G.I. Joe was the thing. Like,
yep.
From childhood, G.I. Joe was the most important brand in my life, from the comics to the animated series. And I was always the comics guy. So like, and the toys and the comics were my like in to the G.I. Joe universe. Like I watched the cartoon. I was 7. Of course I watched the cartoon, but I loved the comic book and I loved the toys. And Larry Hama was responsible for both of them. He wasn't responsible for the cartoon. I know for most people, the cartoon is like the main thing that they think of when it comes to G.I. Joe. So it's always like, and knowing's half the battle, right? Because Larry used to tell me, like, people, I mean, he, of course, not anymore, but back in the day, people would come up to him and say, and now and knowing's half the battle. And he'd look at them like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, I can curse on this podcast.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's because like Larry got nothing to do with the cartoon, like, and the cartoon storyline is way different from the comic book storyline. Yeah. So yeah, Larry Hama is, the god when it comes to G.I. Joe. And then for me, just action figures, like I can't separate the two. Like, and that's why I have the Larry Hama action figure like behind all those,
which is so dope
too, because and you've been Tunnel Rat for cosplay, so you know what it means to be an Asian American G.I. Joe fan.
Definitely. No, I love that, dude. Yeah, I can't speak enough about Larry Hama. Yeah, you said it all right there. Icon, man. I just got lost in the sauce thinking about that, man. Just I think that's also what brought you and I together, that connection and that love for G.I. Joe and Larry Hama and everything that he's contributed to giving us that representation, and seeing ourselves in that. So yeah, that's gonna be the focus. I'm gonna do Marvel Legends. I'm gonna do like unboxings per episode. I think Shang-Chi will be my episode 1. This is essentially my episode 0, talking to me, the king of AAPI toy collecting, and and having it be somebody that I know. So I was like, I have to have you for episode 0. And and then as I go along, I'd love to get some of your wisdom as I build out what I'm gonna do with this, and hopefully hunt and find figures that people are looking for. But yeah, just wanting to show a spotlight. There's a ton of toys out there. But here's going to be one that I hope people can see as far as the API community can see us represented within the figures. And gems like you have the Larry Hama action figure that just tells me now, like, you know what, that's probably a figure that I want to have as well. You know, you've talked about that one before. I'm like, I don't think I've ever gotten that one or looked out, because it was in like a limited run. When
it was a Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter.
Yeah. And I didn't jump on that fast enough. But yeah, I'm gonna do wrestling. I'm gonna, maybe DC. But if I don't collect for myself, I'll bring somebody on that's what their whole niche of collecting is, and talk about it, and then maybe just kind of give some pearls about, so like for the Shang-Chi episode that I'm gonna record, have somebody to just talk about, what they thought about the film and then Shang-Chi and comics, and then do it. I'm gonna let it breathe. That's one of the things that they say on the Wrestling Figure Podcast. When you crack open the plastic, you're not going to keep it in the box. You're going to let it breathe. You're going to display it, because that's what a true collector, a true fan does.
Well, let me ask you, like, what is your, like, I know you said you kind of fallen off. You were like in the hobby, then you fell off and you came back, and now you're off. And
you can't ever run away. You can't ever get away from it.
It's like they pull you back in. Well, were you, what was your go-to? I mean, I know you said Marvel Legends, but like the last time you were like heavy into it, what was your go-to line? And then were you an opener, or were you like I said, I see all the 3 3/4 Marvel Universe like mint on card hanging on your wall.
I was a little bit of both. I'm a Marvel guy. I love DC, but to me, Marvel I connected with the most because it was the most. You and I even had conversations about like Marvel DC. To me, DC's like God-like, and to me, as a regular guy, I felt Marvel Universe was more fitting for me. So that's why I kind of gravitated towards that. But collecting, I would get the 3 3/4 Marvel Universe figures, Marvel Legends, and then like stopped around the 2-pack. Started doing the Funko Pops a little bit, but I think, are you still about the Funko Pops now? Are you slowing?
I never was.
Now?
I never
got into it.
Nah, I have the Eliza just because it's Hamilton.
Yeah,
and I have Clark and Lois from Smallville. Yeah, because I just love Smallville so much, and that's mostly because like if Hasbro ever did like Marvel Legends style Hamilton figures, or like if we got like full-fledged like Smallville action figures, I probably would have gotten them. Yeah, but like Funko Pop was the only place to get like plastic versions of those two properties. Yeah. I know DC Direct did some Smallville figures back in the day, which I have a couple of, but they were that's an era of action figures that were not as detailed, not as articulated, not as sculpted as nicely as, like, that's the thing about toy collecting too, because like the quality of like mass market, mass retail, because of course the import stuff, which I have a few, and the hot toys, like that's a different level. But the stuff you can go down the Target aisle and pick up, the level of quality is so much better than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Agree.
Yeah. And that's also kind of like why, nothing was appealing to me, and, but yeah, I jumped into the Funko a little bit, more so specifically like the Black Panther. I have like all the Black Panther Funko Pops, a couple of niche ones. I'm looking at the Biggie Smalls because I'm a hip hop head. I got into Loyal Subjects, the little, where you don't know what's in the box. I did start getting to the vinyl toys, the small vinyl toys. Yeah. Got into that a little bit. I'm a big fan of the McFarlane 49ers figures. Well, with the NFL McFarlane figures. I know you're not much of a McFarlane Toys fan, but
but then the McFarlane sports toys were like statues, like talking about articulation. They were just limited. But did you see on Hasbro Pulse, what's coming back in the fall?
No.
Starting lineup.
Are you serious?
You remember them? You remember starting lineup?
I got the Michael Jordan, and I got from when I was a kid. I still have my Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Oh wow! Yeah, I don't have my Michael Jordan anymore.
Key ones. Oh yeah.
I have a.
That's right.
I have a Scott. I had it because it was the one he's going like this.
Yep.
And he's got a full head of hair. I had it for a long time. I don't know what happened to it, but I still have a Scottie Pippen from 1995. Yeah. Starting lineup in package. But I don't know.
Like the old school style, or are they doing?
I don't know. That's the thing. Is like they just tease it. Said come in this fall, starting lineup. So like that in the community, the questions are like, are they going to be like fully articulated? Are they going to be like, because that's the thing. Like Mafex, which is a Japanese import, They do 6-inch figures, and they came out with a Michael Jordan a couple years ago, and I didn't hop on it because I kind of wanted it, but like I was a little mad they didn't give you, like, it had 2 face sculpts, and neither of them had his tongue sticking out. I'm like, how you gonna do a Michael Jordan figure without his tongue sticking out?
Yeah.
And then also the jersey and shorts was like one piece. It wasn't like shorts and a jersey. It was like a bathing suit basically.
Oh.
And it was just kind of funky. I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. And I didn't get it. And now I regret it because like now it's like $5,000 on eBay.
Yeah,
you can't find it.
If we're talking about the same figure, yeah, there was there's some. It looked so realistic.
Well, they have. Well, this was 6-inch. Enterbay does a 1/8 scale and a 1/6 scale that looks like a little human being shrunk down, which is like $4,000 figures.
Oh, I didn't even know. I didn't bother to look at the price. They just look amazing.
But the Mafex one is at least like affordable if you don't mind dropping 100 bones on an action figure.
Yeah.
But what I like now regret about not getting it is that he comes with swappable J's.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one I saw that.
So that's like, and at the end of the day, I was like, damn, I should have like at the very least, because it came with my favorite Jordans are the Jordan 6s. And it came with a little mini version of the. So even if I didn't like the figure, I could have just had the mini J's displayed on the shelf. And now I can't. Now it's not worth buying. So
yeah, the wife would be quite upset, I'm sure, if you dropped.
I mean, I would be upset if I had to spend the kind of money to get the Michael Jordan Mafex figure.
I love it. Well, brother, thank you for coming through to just talk a little bit about that. I hope I can have you back to help me, spotlight episodes like where I talk about, Star Trek AAPI representation within toy figures and Star Wars. There's just all the various genres.
Absolutely.
To help me give me guided focus and just kind of just celebrate us in plastic form. That's
100%. Well, before you go, I want to ask you. This is a question I ask everybody on my show before we end, and it's what's the one figure or vehicle or play set or whatever piece? What's the one that got away? What's the one that you were like growing up? You were even as an adult, you were like, and you can't say the flag because everybody says the flag. Nobody could get the flag. Like I'm convinced the flag ain't real. I don't think that shit ever. Nobody has that. Like,
what parent would allow them to have that big ass flag?
A giant aircraft carrier.
My parents would. Yeah, they were like, no. Where are you gonna put the shit? Like, no.
Right. As a kid, especially, like, I wanted. As 40-year-old men, we're like, where are we gonna put it? Even I can afford it now, and I'm like, I don't know where to put it.
I would mount it to the ceiling.
How Hasbro does the thing called HasLab, where they basically crowdfund like big pieces like that. Yeah. So like they've done, a Sentinel, they've done Galactus, they've done Jabba's barge, and like dudes drop like $500 on. It's like a giant Kickstarter, and then they get this big ass toy. I tell you, this is one story I've told on my podcast. I forget why, but like on Big Bad Toy Store or one of them online toy retailers, they had the Masters of the Universe Classics Castle Grayskull for $100, which was it's a steal because like that thing is like worth $400 or $500.
The new one, right?
Yeah, like the newer ones, it was like for the 7-inch scale.
I've been trying to find that, and yeah.
So this was a few years ago, and like I think this is when like Matty Collector was going out of business or whatever. So that was like Mattel's direct, to consumer online shopping channel. Anyway, it was like $100. So I was like, well, shit, hit purchase, right? I mean, you can't do better than $100 for a big ass playset. And a week or two later, the UPS guy comes to the door, knocks, and he hands me this big ass box. And I take it in the house, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I can't put this anywhere. I can't open this and like display it on anything. I don't have a table big enough for this.
Wow.
So I just put it back on eBay and sold it like the next day because I was like, what am I doing with this? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so to your point about like how you going to put? I don't know where people put their big pieces anymore.
Yeah, like I said, if I were to find a flag, because I legitimately still want the flag.
Other than the flag,
I would flip it and mount it to the ceiling. Just where I would put it. Because I have a studio, I have a pool table, arcade system. If you've been to my house, I would kind of strategically kind of make it like a visual piece that is part of the area. So I still want a flag.
But other than the flag,
Castle Grayskull. Well, I used to have a Castle Grayskull, but I want the new Castle Grayskull. Man, that's a great question. I would say offhand, and I actually recently bought this at Goodwill for $5. Check this out.
Oh wow,
$5, dude. It's humongous. It's
but I mean, is that actually like a?
Yes.
Does that open?
It's an official, from what year is it?
Is that a Kenner? Like,
yeah. Hasbro. It's Hasbro.
Right.
From
what year?
Trying to get the year on it. I don't see the year. Hasbro Europe. But I can't see the year on it.
But does the cockpit open? It doesn't look like the cockpit opens.
No, it doesn't open. You have a
yeah,
it's all plastic. Oh, does something come up? No. But no, it's about almost 3 feet long, dude. Yeah. And bought it for $5 at Goodwill.
Wow.
So I would say then to your question, a Millennium Falcon.
Like from the 80s?
Yeah, because I used to have it.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I didn't have it. So because you're asking what escaped me, it was the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
I never got that.
Like, did you know that, like, I mean, again, going back to how like modern versions outstrip the like old school.
Oh yeah,
ones,
I would want a newer one because
the new one, right? With that's like scale to the figures and stuff, right?
With all the bells and whistles and makes all the cool stuff. Yeah, I think. And actually, you know what? Most recently, there was a Optimus Prime that
self-transforming one.
Exactly. I was this close of pulling the trigger. I think it was like almost $500.
Yeah,
it was. And I was this close, and I decided not to. But then when it came out, and everybody started posting their videos with it, I'm like, fucker, why didn't you do it? You should have. Yeah. So
I mean, like I'd say like that sounds ridiculous, but then like I own 4 Hot Toys now, so like,
yeah, why not?
I
gotta indulge yourself, man. You gotta do what makes you happy.
Okay, and then one last question. I know you're trying to wrap. One last question is, what's your favorite piece in your collection right now?
Ooh, wow. Toy wise, we're talking just
toy wise.
We gotta separate things.
Well, this is your toy podcast, right? We gotta talk about toys.
That's right.
You can't bring out some like statue or some prop.
I'm looking around. You can't see in this room, but I have like some of my toys positioned this way. That's a wonderful question.
I'm gonna show you. This is mine right now. While you're thinking,
yeah.
The Spin Masters, the Batman Batmobile. It looks like a kid's toy, and it kind of is. Because Spin Masters is the kids brand of Batman figures. But this is such a fun toy. Like,
is that the new Batmobile for the new film?
Yeah. It's got like sounds. It lights up. It fits a little 4-inch Batman inside.
And the sound sounded kind of like from the film. Yeah,
I mean, it's got the like.
Yeah.
It's got the engine revving.
That's nice.
People who are listening, like, are I'm sure enjoying this no end.
Dude,
in your ears right now.
The '89 Batman Batmobile, I used to have that. And then it had like the little cover, for the armoring.
Yeah.
The plastic.
The Toy Biz one that was like okay, now you gotta shut up now. That's the one problem with this toy is it doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
The convertible one with the toy
and it had the plastic shell for when it was armored up that you put on top of it. That was one of my favorite toys of all time when I was a kid. Because I was
I still have the Kenner one.
I wish I had that still, to be honest.
This isn't the Toy Biz one. This is when Kenner came out with the Dark Knight collection the following year. It had a little bit more screen accurate Batmobile.
Yeah.
I still have that. I have and you've seen this if you've been on my social media. Yeah. I have like pretty much every generation of Batmobile, from the superpowers.
That's dope.
Through to the Batman, and I have the giant ass. Hold on, I know you're trying to rap.
No, I'm good. No, I wasn't trying to rap at all. I wasn't sure how much time you had.
I got the giant ass, 6-inch scale.
That's dope.
Justice League Batmobile.
Yeah.
I have. All right, this Pattinson Batmobile needs to shut up.
I love show and tell, brother. It's all good. That's
the best part about YouTube. Hell and then I got the this is the Mattel. All right, that's dude. Dope. You still hear it, right? It's still going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good.
This is the Mattel 66 Batmobile.
That's dope.
It's got the McFarlane figures in it because the McFarlane figures look better than the Mattel figures. But McFarlane came out with a quote unquote 6-inch scale George Barris Batmobile this year, and it sucks because it's like too small. Yeah. It looks like when you put Batman and Robin in it, it looks like they're in them like the kid ride in front of the Toys R Us. Yeah. It's like it didn't, but I put the McFarlane figures in the Mattel Batmobile.
That looks dope, bro. That looks really cool.
So yeah, all the Batmobiles are my favorite pieces for me.
See, stuff like that's gonna make me jelly. Like I said, I'm gonna bring other people on to show their stuff, but then I know
your collection's gonna grow.
Like I see that 60s because the 60s Batman stuff has a special place in my heart. It was just so fun and lighthearted. Like that looks so awesome. Like I would want to display that, somewhere.
Yeah, it's I mean, you got to get the Mattel one, and I think you can still find it on eBay. Yeah. If you do, don't get the McFarlane. This is for all your listeners, all your viewers. Don't buy the McFarlane version because it's shit. Yeah. Try to find the Mattel one because the Mattel one's actually to scale to 6-inch figures, and then the McFarlane Batman and Robin, like the sculpts on those are nice. Put those in there and you'll have like the perfect combination because they look like doo-doo in their McFarlane Batmobile. Anyway. I feel that.
Yo, you just reminded me of a question that was tragic for me as a young kid, collector, toy fan. Remember that 89 Batman to me. And I also say this, and I haven't spoke to you. You and I haven't talked about the new Batman film. So I think you enjoyed it because you obviously are buying all the stuff with it. You're getting the Robert Pattinson hot toy. So I'm sure you're a fan of it. However, for me, 89 Batman still is it for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
it has I think in my heart.
Exactly. I mean, I still look.
Yeah.
and until Ezra Miller went wild, The Flash was my most anticipated movie because of Michael Keaton. So yeah. I'm with you. No offense.
So Batman was good. I like the new Batman. The new Batman film was great. But okay, yeah. My question was so remember the 89 Batman toys and the Batman figure. I had the Batman toy in the head sculpt. There was one that was like a really cool looking one. It was thin, and it was my favorite. It was my Batman toy. But then I lost it. My mom bought me a new Batman, but the head sculpt.
Yeah, the 89 Batman, the Toy Biz ones had two head sculpts. One was a little
fat
bit
looking, retarded looking. I'm sorry, excuse my language. It looked terrible, and I never played with it. It ruined me. It ruined me. Did you have that same toy, and did you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, I mean, like 89. I think you and I are similar in age. Like the 89 Batman was like the pinnacle for me as a kid, and so because like the marketing for the figure, the toys that came out when the movie came out were actually Toy Biz. Toy Biz had the license to Batman.
Yep.
And they were using old Superpowers molds.
Which was, to me, I love Superpowers.
Yeah, Superpowers. I mean, I love that as a kid. Like I said, I still got that's the one thing I didn't do show and tell with. I should grab that, but I'm nothing like a guy getting up and walking away from a camera on a Zoom for YouTube. But so like when Toy Biz did the license, they did the Joker, they did Bob the Goon, they did Batman. They did two versions of Batman with two different head sculpts. Yeah. One was like, I mean, back then nothing was like actually screen accurate, but the one was a little bit closer to Michael Keaton, and then one was just more of like a janky toy version of it. Both of them had the belt that you could use as a grappling hook. Remember, you pulled the string from his belt. Yeah. But my favorite was the following year, in 1990. Kenner, the license for Batman went from Toy Biz to Kenner. Yeah. Kenner was the original license holder because they did Superpowers back in the early 80s. And when Kenner took over, that's the Batmobile I showed. Yeah. That's when they did like those figures. Those are my talk about nostalgia. That's what I remember. I remember the Toy Biz ones. I had my brother and I used to play with them with the plastic cocoon and everything. But when Kenner put out the Dark Knight collection, that's what it was called in 1990. Yeah. I mean, I still have those figures. Like I still got the Batman from it. That looked like Michael Keaton. Yeah. And then when Batman Returns came out, they had like the Michelle Pfeiffer count. For some reason, they didn't put out a penguin that looked like Danny DeVito. They just put out like a regular comic book penguin. I think he was too gross for little kids back then. And that one famously came out with a Robin figure because Robin was supposed to be in Batman Returns.
Yeah.
and he had this like updated armor, but he had a high top fade.
Yeah,
because it was supposed to be Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, yep.
So they had that was the design for Marlon Wayans, but then when he got cut from the movie, they still made the figure, but then they were like, well, he ain't black no more, so they kind of like painted him white. He's this white Robin with a high top fade, and that was my favorite Robin figure for a long time. And they actually kept using that mold for like the animated figure, for like that was the Robin mold for like 10 years after that came out. So so like that was the Kenner Batman toys. They're the ones were.
You just reminded me of a Kenner Batman gold costume with like a jetpack figure that I had.
Yep.
I had that one.
It had the camo one. There was a camo one. There was a white one. Yeah, the Dark Knight ones had all the multiple color bat suits.
Actually, that just reminded me of something. You want to hold up? I'm going to come off of Zoom real quick and show you something because I just looked over and I forgot about that I had that. So let's see what's inside this thing. You might be shocked real quick. You might
go for it
real quick. All right, here we go.
So while you were doing that, I went ahead and grabbed this bad boy.
Yo,
I've had this for 40 years almost, right? 84, so coming up on 40 years.
Yeah.
And just in the last year, it started malfunctioning. This battering ram doesn't stay closed no more. I kept it was like in perfect condition for like 35 years. And just the last year, the spring finally gave
just
up.
On its own, just popped out.
Yeah, just one day it just popped out and wouldn't close.
Yeah.
But other than this is still my all-time favorite thing ever.
Yeah. And those figures are the dopest. That Batman and Robin are classic.
Those are original.
I love it.
It's kind of dusty shit.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what?
Damn.
And actually that has me hoping that's what's inside here that you're about to see. So that's
how
dope.
dusty that is. This is horrible.
No worries.
Horrible, Keith.
While you see Marvel all around me, I do have this.
Oh, nice. Are there figures inside?
That's what I believe I do. And it's been forever since I opened this.
They're all like moldy now and shit.
So I'm going to crack this open. And we do.
Oh, look at that. Oh, shit.
So check it out. Here, I'll pull a few up. I have two Wonder Womans.
I love how this is no longer about AAPI action figures.
All right. Hey, we're going to show y'all in upcoming episodes. Right now, this is episode 0. We can have fun. And I just noticed there's one Wonder Woman with I guess her arm. You see, like there's a.
Yeah, I don't think the one with the switch is a superpowers figure.
So I'm curious, what is it? Yeah, I guess this lifted her arm, but it's not doing it right now. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know. Well, I probably knew back then, but yeah, two different Wonder Womans. I got two Aquamans apparently in here. So
wow.
And then here you go. Here's the Batman that I hated.
You still got him. Yeah.
The wrong face.
Oh, you lost his belt though.
Yeah, the belt. Yeah, the belt is gone because you would pull it out so much. You're a kid, but yeah, I hated this.
Because there was one with a more square face, and that's the one
I loved.
Yeah.
And so this one, I was like, "Fuck this Batman." And then here's the gold Batman I was telling you about.
That's the Dark Knight collection, right? And that one's the one that looks more like Michael Keaton. Yep.
And here it has the jetpack. Yep, and it does look a lot more like Michael Keaton. Yep. And I got my Robin up in here. There we go.
Yep, that's the same dude.
Yep.
Boom. Same guy.
I got the Flash. I got my
Yo, like how did you keep like the paint? The decals are still on
a little
point.
bit red, but yeah, for the most part, I think I was pretty good with my toys. Although, I guess I was mashing them so much that I do have a little bit of red on the nose. But for the most part, on here, the Batman, the symbols faded.
Okay.
Because you're bashing them as kids.
I never did. I didn't bash my toys together.
So,
but you know what I used to do? There were like back in the day when I had back then everything was 3 3/4, like G.I. Joe, Star Wars, even like Kenner's the Superpowers, Secret Wars. They're all basically 3 3/4, 4-inch figures.
Yeah.
So I would, to your point about wrestling, I would have like wrestling matches between like Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes and Batman and Darth Vader, you know what I'm saying? So like so I wouldn't bash them together. I would literally like suplex and body slam and like figure 4 leg lock, So.
Yeah, I dig that. I got Hawkman, but I think I broke one of the wings off.
I used to have that one.
Yeah, so got the Hawkman in there. That's all on that side. Let me see what is on the other side because this has 2 sides to it. this case. But yeah, a little bit of show and tell real quick. So there's the back art of it, if you will.
Yeah, that's a cool case.
Yeah.
Is that original?
Yeah. Oh, look, dude.
Oh, all the villains. You put all the villains on the back.
On this side too. But there you can see there's like comics inside it. Dude, I haven't cracked this open in probably 20 plus years, dude.
Oh, for real? So those toys must be janky as shit right now. I bet they're all sticky.
They're not exact. They're not janky. There's a little dust in, I think, some in here. But here's a penguin.
Oh, nice. Because I still got Batman inside the 89 Batmobile, but I don't take him out because his legs are all like jello at this point.
Yeah, Two-Face up in here. Riddler, I actually put him in plastic for some reason. So I guess I was actually taking care of things a little bit there. Oh, and it has the riddles inside there.
Nice.
It has the riddles that it came with. Mr. Freeze, I had two penguins. Actually, so I have two penguins along with his umbrella. Yeah, and this is feeling sticky. I'm feeling some stickiness. But yeah, there's a Mr. Freeze in plastic. I got two Luthers up in here. Real quick, show some Luthor in this. And this is a Superpowers Luthor, which I'm sure you're familiar with that one.
Yeah.
But I don't have his armor. I don't.
The piece that goes on top.
Yep. Calabac, I believe that's Calabac, right?
That's Brainiac, bro.
Brainiac. Oh no, this is Calabac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got those two cats, and to close us out, might as well end it off on Batman. We got into Batman. I got
Bob the Goon. Yep.
Got Boone, and
they need to redo that.
The sticker is pretty good too. The sticker looks still pretty good. And to close it out, the guy who gets the last laugh. Two different Jokers.
So the Joker on the left is the Superpowers. The one on the right is the Batman 89 Toy Biz one.
Good to know. All right, there we go. Yeah, bro, this is crazy.
And you got me on for a reason, right? Like,
you know it.
Because then the Kenner one looks more like Jack Nicholson, which you don't have. The Kenner Dark Knight Collection one. That was the one you used to dip it in water and the white face would turn flesh color.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. That's cool.
The Dark Knight Collection was dope because it had the Batmobile, had the Batwing, but more accurate to scale and to screen than the Toy Biz ones. Because the Toy Biz Batmobile was like a convertible. It didn't have like the cockpit. And then the Batwing was kind of like, a little bit oversized. But then when Kenner got the license the following year, they gave you that like screen accurate Batmobile with the flip open canopy and then a bat, which I never had, which I wanted. So yeah, I mean, honestly, you got me on as the AAPI toy expert. I'm the Kenner Batman toy expert.
You know what? I will have to holler, dude. I already know how much knowledge you got, so I know there's a lot of knowledge you bring to the table, man. And I can't thank you enough for coming through and having me as well on Shelf Conscious as well, man. But yeah, I would love for you to join me in my AAPI Toy Hero journey as I hunt and collect. Yeah, before we start, let's sign off on mine before I guess we sign off on yours. How can my people reach out to the amazing Keith Chow?
Yeah.
I know your sites, but if you could tell everybody watching how they can reach out to you.
Of course. You can follow me on Twitter at the real Chow, the _real _Chow. And I'm on Instagram at real Keith Chow. You can follow all of the podcasts at hardknockmedia.com. You can find Shelf Conscious there as well as Hard Knock Life, Southern Fried Asian, and all the fam there. And then the nerdscolor.org is where you find all of the writing. And yeah, that's basically where you can hit us up. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenerdsofcolor, and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thenerdsofcolor. How about you? How can people find you online?
I appreciate it, homie. Follow my man. Give him some love with some subscribes, y'all. Give all that love to my man. For me, it's the legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Of course, ShoPowSho, where I give you all that FilipinX content. And I'm also that's going to be another big, heavy focus as well within the API Toy Heroes, because if we're talking about even further, not getting enough representation, it's the FilipinX representation in toys. So that's going to be a big part of the journey. But ShoPowSho, and of course the NRW and New Release Wednesday, Nerds Rule the World everywhere with my squad. And of course, again, I'm alumni with the Nerds of Color, probably be mixing it up in the future again as well with my man Keith. Give all the Nerds of Color some love. But this was a lot of fun, man. I'm shelf conscious, and I can't wait to get down with some more API Toy Heroes with my man Keith Chow.
100%.
All right, y'all. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I'm good. I am recording. Let me go ahead. All right.
Welcome to Shelf Conscious. I am Keith Chow. This is a crossover episode with my boy Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, fellow nerd of color. His nerds rule the world. He is also a toy collector trying to get into the toy vlogging space with his new show, AAPI Toy Heroes. So we're going to do a little crossover with Shelf Conscious. Please welcome Patrick Michael Strange, aka Kuya P, and a whole bunch of nicknames that I'm sure he's going to throw out in a second.
Yo, I'm super excited, brother. It's great to see you. It's been a very long time, man. Thank you for having me be a part of Shelf Conscious, man. I've been loving what you've been doing with it thus far, and I'm super excited and I'm inspired. That's kind of why I'm doing AAPI Toy Heroes, man, to just show love and light to us getting, being immortalized in that plastic form. It's that fight for representation already that we fight for on screen, but it's even smaller when it comes to, the figure market. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to doing there and getting your wisdom to show love and light on that as well. So thank you, brother.
Cool.